Good morning, everyone. We can start with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Cool. If I may read a quick Bible, it's good news. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are good plans and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. When you look to me and pray, I will listen." Heavenly Father, we thank you today that you know who we are. We thank you that you know the plans you have for us. So Lord, in context to Linn County and these commissioners today, I pray that you would just help them as they shoulder the responsibilities of overseeing our county. Lord, you said you had plans of good and not evil to give us a future and a hope. So I pray, Lord, your grace would just be upon our county and upon our commissioners as they need help and wisdom and encouragement. I pray that you would be their companion and that whenever they need to seek you, they would find you. So we thank you for that today. In all the proceedings today, let your wisdom be upon them and all the decisions that are made. And it's in your wonderful name we pray. Amen.
I've read the minutes and I make a motion to approve them as written.
That was it, right?
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Bills.
Make a motion, we pay the bills in an amount of $238,850.35. That's my motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I've got several things for you this morning. Sheriff's report and the fire report.
Sheriff's reports, total prisoners 21, farmed out 0, 106 911 calls, 381 calls for service, 11 civil service papers served. New cases open 15, 2 closed, 2 vehicle crashes, SRO activity 68, and 9 livestock out.
So, Gary, I don't know if you talked a little bit about it last week. I talked to Sheriff this morning and just going over all the hard work the staff and them have been doing over there. He's got the contract for Wyandotte, and he looks like he's going to have his first set of inmates to come down there this week or next week, 10 or so. And then the U.S. Marshals, it looks like he's going to do, what is it? I think they wanted to dump 40 on him, and he said, no, let's do 20 and work their way up. But they're good contracts, and appreciate the hard work they've done to get that done. And hopefully the staff and everything will be able to run smoothly, and they'll be able to increase that later, which will help our bond issue and help the sheriff's department as well. And he talked a little bit about 911. I just wanted to give you a quick update since it's fresh on my mind. The jail moving the 911 system over. It looks like Century still Link's building a piece of equipment for him. May take 2 or 3 weeks to get that done, maybe sooner. And once they move that over, and then they start moving everything out of there, he thinks that they'll be able to have that jail completely empty, everything that they need out of it by the end of October. And that would give us the, go ahead and get that demolished. And
Have
get
we already
that.
put that in the newspaper? And
Not yet. I kind of wait until we had some firm dates and
So that's what it looks like. I'd
we spent those
probably
this week. So.
have them maybe start in the second week of November or something like that, unless something changes.
And, we won't be demoing the barn. He's still using.
Right. He looks like he's going to keep that. He also announced, though, that he wants to do a walkthrough like he did over here for the new jails, people that, at least one time, that we got everything emptied out of it. He wants to take them through, and this is what it looked like
Excellent idea.
before. We'll turn on all the moisture and let it drip from the ceilings. No. Let them look what the old jail looked like, and you don't even have to do that. It's already there. So he's going to do let people walk through there. So that's the update he's given, and I guess Joe McClaney would keep in touch with him about the bond issue for if we ever want to do anything later on.
It's probably years in the future before
Yeah.
we need to reissue those.
Yeah, but just keeping it. Yeah.
We'll stay on top of it.
Okay. So that's the update that I got from the sheriff
Should we
today.
go with the way it is right now? I mean, does anybody have any idea?
Yeah, he did. The sheriff thought, I think, up to the 40. Is it 40? He seemed like we're up to the 40, and then whatever other contracts he had in, then we maybe have to look at something different if we're going to continue to.
But even if we have 40, what that'll do is just shorten up our horizon rather than require it to be done more right then.
Yeah.
So
Less
like,
years on the 40 is what you're.
right.
Right.
Right. So if we go to 50 or 60, that's okay. It just brings the time frame in a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he thought his first group of prisoners, since we have a female pod here, would be from Wyandotte County, would probably be all females. Not sure yet, but he thinks that might be. So that's the update from the sheriff to this morning that I talked to him on.
And then rural fire numbers, we had 3 incidents dispatched and canceled en route. Gas leaks 2, off-road vehicle, heavy equipment fire 1, brush and brush grass mixture fire 1, grass fire 1, motor vehicle accident with no injury 3, a total of 9 incidents.
I got a couple more things if you're ready for them. I've got the listing now on our revenue neutral note, our revenue neutral rate notice expenses. We combined a lot of those into envelopes when people had multiple properties, which cut our postage down a bunch. But we ended up with $10,847.11 in expenses that I can turn in for reimbursement. And that does not count labor because we can't get labor reimbursed. But we had a lot of help from other departments, the sheriff's office, the registered deeds, the appraisers. Janet and I talked about different things on the notices several times. So it was a combined effort of a lot of departments helping us get those out in time. But I say I have my list ready. I've just got to find out now from the state who I'm turning this into and when we can expect reimbursement on it. The other thing I had is received a letter late last week from George Teagarden that he is resigning from the Planning and Zoning Committee. So there's the letter that he sent in.
Yeah, he's in my district, so we're working to find somebody for him, replace him.
So I think probably would be appropriate to have a motion to accept that letter of resignation.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we accept the letter from George T. Gardner, who is assigned to Planning and Zoning Committee.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the resignation. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I think that's all I've got for now.
AMR?
Good morning, David Anderson with a short update. The past 7 weeks, the past 7 days, we've done 13 ambulance transports. And so far, much to take for August, we're at 50 ambulance transports. So it remains pretty busy. And then good news on the staffing side, full-time EMT and 2 full-time paramedic positions. All the offers that were accepted. EMT finished the last academy last week. Paramedics will be starting their academy soon. so we're really looking forward to having them in, positions filled, and that'll leave us that staff, all our filled, so that'll be good relief for our staff. One extra shift to fill in all the gaps, so sitting in a good place for staff. That's all I have.
I don't have anything.
No.
Thank you, Gabe. Missy?
Health department, last week, we had 18 immunizations, one TB, or sorry, 3 TB skin tests, 1 candy healthy physical, 3 COVID vaccines, 13 WIC, and then on the 16th, we gave out back to school supplies at Jayhawk at elementary, and we served about 105 kids. So that was our any questions?
I don't have any.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jessica?
Good morning, Jessica. I have a new grant this week. It's called the Rural Champions Grant. It's hosted by the Office of Rural Prosperity, which is the division of the Department of Commerce. This is the first year they've done it. It's the inaugural. If it goes well this year, they're hoping to continue the program. They're going to award 12 counties across Kansas, and the counties must have under 40,000 in population to apply. So they're trying to keep it rural. So the grant, we would identify a project. Either it could be childcare, building a childcare center, or trying to improve housing stock in the county. We can look at our comprehensive plan. And pull a project out of there. So, and the comprehensive plan would help back up our application. So we would hire our rural champion. We have the grant reimburses $20 per hour. They are required to spend 20 hours per week focused solely on this project. And the grant year runs from October of this year to October of next year. The grant will reimburse $25,000 worth of payroll. There's a 25% match. It can be either a payroll, adding to the payroll, or an in-kind. So providing office space, a computer, payroll taxes would count. I would like to, the deadline for application is September 16th. I would like to try to put together an application for this grant. I think it would be a great opportunity to try to make some headway on one of those projects.
Which project?
Well, I haven't decided yet. I think either a child care center or diving into our housing issue. The Office of Rural Prosperity will provide resources and training for whoever we hire for this position. So we wouldn't just be, throwing them out there with no backup. I would be the grant administrator. I would submit reports to the Office of Rural Prosperity to get the reimbursement for the payroll. They can be either a 1099 employee or a W-2, however we decide to do it.
And then what exactly are they going to do for us again?
So say we went for the housing, if we decided to try and address our housing stock issue, they would work with the state there's multiple programs out there for tax abatements and doing a housing assessment with the state to try and bring in resources for developers. There's all kinds of programs out there. So this program is designed to help us hire someone to focus on a certain project.
Do they have a recommended list of people you could hire?
No, we have to find our own
Can this be a part-time job or?
part-time
For 1 year,
for 1 year,
20 hours a week.
20 hours a week. At least they can work more, but we will be reimbursed up to 20 hours a week.
They're paying up to 25,000 and
Yes,
matching grant for,
25%.
so we could.
The
go
more,
25.
the more we match, the
Sure.
higher our grant will, the better it'll look on our application.
Right. And just asking you this, Jessica,
Mm-hmm.
so say you're working on the housing project itself, you chose to do that project. The city's cooperation is the key to that.
Absolutely.
So how's that gonna work out?
I will build that into my application. I plan on, if that's the route we want to go, I plan on reaching out to the cities, seeing if they're interested in working with this individual. I don't know about asking them to chip in for the match. That would be kind of up to you guys. But I would be open to asking that if you want to, if they're interested.
Okay.
But yes,
And how are you gonna go about picking a location?
a location.
So you're gonna let him work on the project or her individual work on the project, and then we're gonna determine, are we looking at it for the whole county as far as housing?
If we do housing, yes, I would prefer to do a countywide study. That way,
So it's just a person that's coming in and doing a study and reaching out to people trying to get them here? That's all it is? Are they going to actually oversee a project?
they would help oversee the project. Yes,
They would be
until
overseeing the building
Yeah.
project. They'd be overseeing like reaching out to developers.
right, and getting
encouraging developers
helping
to come in, do business here.
helping bring dollars in as well to help support the project. Their position.
I would be more in support of housing than daycare,
Okay,
only because then it becomes one town gets
Yes.
it, the other one doesn't.
I would agree with
All
you.
that craziness that goes on every single time.
So right now you're just trying to apply for the grant?
I'm just trying to apply for the grant.
I'll make a motion that we allow Jessica to go ahead and apply for this grant, see what it's about.
Thank you.
What do you think about it?
We can apply for it and see what.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Moved and seconded, and all in favor?
Thank you very much. I also want to update you on the airport a little bit. I finally got a hold of the salesman for the tarp for the building. He's been kind of hard to reach, but I should have a delivery date early this week, so hopefully we can get that moving. And then something exciting, July, we had a record month for fuel sales. We sold over $6,000 worth of fuel in July, so that was very exciting for me.
So when you have to buy more fuel next?
Hopefully next year. We just bought fuel.
Okay, all right.
We went, I think, 9 months this time. We had been going about a year. We went 9 months this time. We sold this last tank faster. So,
Were you able to get the parts for the credit card reader or whatever to get the price of the gas up? Or?
not yet. They are on order. But it's currently $5.99.
$5.99?
Yep.
You couldn't go over $6.
We couldn't go over $6. We were missing one little pin to make the thing work. So, I'll be back in here about 10 for the comprehensive plan.
Okay.
Do you have anything for me while I'm here?
I don't think so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Janet's got a report.
Janet, you have something?
Ma'am?
Thank you.
Thank you.
First page is the interest report. Janet Cleveno, treasurer. The first page is our interest. We've spent all of our construction money, so there's no interest on it anymore. The next report is the tax, which it is what it is. Then the last report, I've never given you this. It is a summary of our tax foreclosure sale.
Okay.
We brought in 81,300. Of that much, you see the total if you go straight down. Our expenses, what we got back from the sale was 23,738. Our cost of the sale, I put that in there. Then I have a profit and loss of what we did on the sale. So our sales costing us about $3,400 a year.
Okay.
And that's what we sold.
Hey, could you just go over on the first page and explain so everybody knows what Super Now is and,
Super Now is our checking account.
okay, that's the interest off of it?
That's the $512 is the interest of what we have
Yes,
in
ma'am.
checking.
Okay.
And then our CDs,
Okay, yeah,
and we got 19,100 off of that.
Okay.
That's the interest we get off of that.
okay. How do
Anything
you
else?
feel? Treasurer's doing good?
We're doing good.
Good.
Any
Anything we
questions?
can help you with?
We're good.
All right.
We're good. Any questions?
None.
I don't have any.
Okay, thank you so
Jan.
much.
Sean?
Sean West, Public Works Administrator. I don't have a lot today for you. Been working with Teresa over in Pleasanton. We've got a nuisance issue at the senior center with some stray cats and things. So I've been working with her to resolve those issues. While working with her, she also asked me to relay to the commission that they are going to move forward on the community building and hope to start October 1 and start the finishing of those back rooms. So they were kind of looking for some direction before that date as to what we may or may not do. So that she was just trying to reach out and let me know to put a bug in your ear to let you know that they want to move forward on the project and just need some communication as far as what we want to do and a
So
direction.
they're not doing that for us right now. If they're going to move it, they're going to move it into storage, is that what?
That they will be converting it to storage. If we do not have a agreement or a finalization of a plan with them, they will move forward to convert that area to storage.
Okay.
So, we've got our road grader back, the John Deere that came out of Prescott that had the, warranty on the motor. We've got it back. Harry wants to put it up in Centerville to replace, a grader that's been moved down from Centerville to cover the one that was down. He also, it's more information rather than a request for a direction. We've got to move somebody up there because we don't have an operator in Centerville at this time. We're waiting on some issues to determine whether that operator is going to come back to work. So we'd have to pull one out of the south shop and do it currently part-time until that individual either comes back to work or we have to take another direction. So we'll be moving one of the guys from the south shop up each day to run that in Centerville. For some reason I dealt with, and this is more information for the public, I dealt with oil on the roadways 3 times this week, which I've never dealt with before, but apparently in 3 separate locations throughout the county, and I sent a copy of a letter to Gary. He checked off on it, and I used it as a template to send out to these 3 property owners. They have taken it upon themselves to spray used motor oil on our county roadways as dust control, anywhere from 40 plus gallons in some locations to quite a bit more. I sent letters out to them advising them, and I'd advise anybody in the public, whether it's calcium, whether it's motor oil, no substance should be put on a county roadway that's not approved or applied by county employees or contractors. If it is applied, and what I told them in the letter, if we are ordered to remove that as a contaminant on our roadway, they could expect the possibility of the county coming back for the damages and the repairs for that cost. I sent those out. I haven't had any response back. I did talk to 2 out of the 3 individuals personally and had good conversation and don't expect problems in the future. We're continuing on with our CDL trainings, going well with the one employee that's going through it. And Darren and I both met, and he will talk to you. We need to go back over, we held an item from last week for Jim to be here. but we both went ahead and preemptively talked to Sugar Valley and Tanglewood and talked to them about lot mergers and planning and zoning and codes enforcement with the expectation that that would be done this week. Tanglewood had their annual meeting and stuff, and I spoke in generalities and told them that it would be a topic coming up this week and that it most likely was going to head that direction, and we would keep contact with them. And from what I hear from Darren, both his and my contact with them were pretty positive. That's all I have for you this week, unless you have any questions for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
So do we need to go ahead and make the approval of that policy change for Darren? Do we have a motion?
You want to do that? Let me, yeah, grab Darren. I don't think I brought a copy of it with me. But yeah, maybe I did. This is we did a policy letter back in 2018 or so, dealing with how we were going to enforce nuisances at the lake communities. And he just wanted some minor revisions in it. I'll let him detail what those minor revisions were, just like a line or two that he wanted to revise. And so you would be reissuing or issuing a new policy letter that revises and replaces policy letter 2018-01. This would be policy letter 2022-01, I think. I don't think we've done any others this year, have we, David?
I don't think so.
So, do you want to tell them what the changes were you made? I can't remember specifically what they were.
Basically, the only change was that they need to, like on holding tanks, I've been getting a bunch of nuisance calls of, we don't think they have a holding tank. So I put in there that they need to at least go confirm that there's a holding tank on the property, and if it is leaking, if there's saturation on the ground around it, or if there hasn't been one installed. That's basically the only
So
change.
basically, we're requiring a complaint to have more than just suspicion.
Right. They need to go,
So
I'd like for,
find what their problem is.
They're saying, yes, we know that this is the case.
yeah. This is, I think I gave everybody one last week, remember?
And that's just a minor change, probably in the next to the last paragraph or so, is that?
Yeah, it's right. Yeah.
Where are you at on the other thing with the inspections? Having a company inspect?
We just need to get a resolution drafted.
Have you got one yet?
Not yet. I've been putting together everything that I want to put in it. That way we can draft the resolution, and then we're going to bring all the haulers that are licensed in, talk to them about it, and then bring it before you guys to.
So what we're talking about here is normally when property changes hands and they have a septic tank or a holding tank even, we require our county, we required him to go out and inspect. And usually he meets out with the pumping crew out there, and they all look, and he takes pictures and everything. We're looking at doing what some of the other counties do, instead of requiring 4 parties to meet there at the same time and in the same place a lot of times, to allow them to go ahead and pump it under our regulations and inspect it. And you're going to come up with some ideas of how you want that done. And
Yeah.
the approved vendors for our use.
Right.
And if they can use somebody else, but they need to go through you first. Well, I guess we'll go through all that stuff.
Right. And we've got a form that I fill out when I go out and do a sanitation inspection, and probably give that to them as a guideline to go by. And then they would either email it or mail it back in after the inspection. That way we've got record of it being inspected, whether it passed or failed. And on fails, that way we definitely know if we need to be watching out for a new system being put in, because they'll have to get it permitted.
And individuals can go get their own license and install them themselves. Is that correct?
That is correct. They've got to come in and take the test and obviously pass it before they are allowed to install their own system.
Sure. Okay.
So if you're open to approving this policy letter 2022-01.
I make a motion that we accept this policy letter
I'll second.
stated. Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
You got anything else for us?
The nuisance out on 69 highway. I sent a letter, you were contacted about it. I still haven't received contact, but I drove by there this weekend. I'm gonna have to get a hold of the city of Pleasanton because it looks like they've moved from county property back into the woods onto the lake property that's the city of Pleasanton. So I'm going to reach out today and try to determine if they've crossed that boundary line or not. But other than that, that's all I've got.
And we've got a conditional use permit next week, right?
No.
Isn't that, because
Yes.
it's got to be 14 days from
Yes.
a week ago
Yeah.
Tuesday, so it'd be next week.
Yeah, next Monday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I sent you an individual's name. We talked about it.
Yes.
Did he say yes or no, or did?
I didn't reach out yet because I was waiting for that resignation letter, and I didn't know that it got sent
You want to put that
today.
in your file?
Yes, please.
So I'd like to get a copy of that too, Aaron,
Okay.
and this.
Okay. But I will reach out to him today.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I don't have anything.
I just tell you, gentlemen, that Darren's doing a great job, and this job is as big as the job as it is. He's doing a great job, and I've enjoyed working with him. Well, just leave it at that.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Darren. Hey, Danny, just on the, because I had a person call me again. Any progress on the senior center?
No, not really, no.
S- s-
I'd reached out to a contractor. We're gonna go over and look at it, but we haven't. Sean and I kind of worked on it, but we haven't really got anywhere else on it. So I'll reach out and do it again, but
And then how, I guess I don't have the numbers in front of me. How many's eating over there now?
it depends. I think on Fridays there's a lot more because it's bingo, but 7 to 12 probably, I'd say. So
Average 7 to 12.
I'd say, yeah. I mean, there's quite a few. I think they really enjoy it.
There has been some interest in Linn Valley, and Linn Valley's been contacting Area on Aging, and they may do some, they may open a temporary site to see how that works up there. They've never had one. And so they're looking at Area on Aging's listening to them. And so they may start one to see how busy it is up there. They have to have probably 12 to start, I would think, on a consistent basis before you open one up. But so they're looking at something up there in the city of Linn Valley for the senior center.
What else? What do you got, Jessica? You got something else?
No, we don't have to. We can do it anytime.
Come ahead if you want to.
Copies over there in the
Is there a cop?
boxes, possible.
Okay.
Yeah, I left mine over there last.
Dining garment, I can go find my truck.
Did you have a resolution of adoption in here? I couldn't find it, but maybe I just missed it.
I didn't make one, no.
We'll need to.
Okay. Should we wait for Danny or?
Oh, he went out to get his, I believe.
So we had the public hearing for the comprehensive plan at the, Planning and Zoning Committee meeting last week. Not last week, the week before. There were 11 people, members of the public present for the hearing. There were several that spoke. All were in favor of the plan as presented. The committee, the Planning Commission, voted to recommend that we approve the plan as written. The vote was 6-0 for approval.
So everything was unanimous then?
Everything was unanimous, yes.
I don't have a problem with it. I read it over and,
Do you have any questions about it?
no, not really.
Okay.
Took a lot of people, and I thank everybody that was involved in it.
It was over a year. We had so much public input to help build this plan. I think it's a really good plan, and I was really excited about how much public input we had.
I'd like to thank everybody that was involved in it.
The steering committee was excellent. The planning commission has been good to work with. Jennifer Reinhardt from IBTS she's very responsive. She was lots of help.
Good.
I'll prepare an ordinance or a resolution.
And I apologize that I didn't get that done. I didn't.
Well, I didn't think,
One.
usually whoever does
Okay.
the book puts one in it, but I didn't see one, so I will get one ready for you.
So you don't want us to do nothing?
I don't want you to do nothing, that's right,
Till next week.
the next week.
Okay.
Not my fault. I'd vote it in right now.
Thanks, Rick.
But we adopted,
Jessica, thanks for what you've done on it also.
yeah, thank you. And then
my
especially
pleasure.
all the people there's so many people that helped out.
So many people involved. It was absolutely a community
Even though
effort.
it took
So
like 1,000 years to do.
just one. Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Hey, Gary, I wanted to talk to all of you about policy letter for maybe our committees. And I guess it would be a policy letter, but I'd like us to consider that we have people on committees that's been on committees for 20 years. And so I'd like to come up with something that makes sense. Person serves on the committee, the way it's broken up now, serves 2 3-year terms and then has to take a break if they want to come back. So instead of somebody just going continuously on planning and zoning or on any of the other committees, that they could do 2 3-year terms, take off 3 years before they could apply and come back again if they wanted to come back on. Give somebody else the opportunity to serve the community instead of somebody staying on some of these committees for 20 and 25 years.
So you want to see 2 3-year terms and then you have to take one off.
Take one off and then come back and do same scenario. Is that reasonable? Is that something we could do?
I think we could put something together to accomplish that, yeah. We probably need to list what committees it applies to so that it's clear.
We never push it out there and we're always, people who never get involved is because a lot of times it's the same people that's involved over and over and over again and they just get drug out. And some want to stay on it, but they need to take a break.
Can I ask a clarifying?
Sure.
When I redid or updated the Economic Development Committee bylaws last year, the year before, we kind of built that in to my bylaws
Okay.
so that when the commissioner changes or the term renews, the commissioner reappoints or not those committee members in his district. Would you rather this policy that you're proposing supersede my
It will.
bylaws?
And I
Okay.
don't want somebody to be on the economic development for 20 years straight.
And I understand that.
Yeah, so we can work out something like,
Just for clarification.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
and we'll work on that with you too.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Is that something we could do?
Do we need a list of how many committees we have and to where we can get?
Yeah, I think it
I think
should
when we
be.
do some, we do every committee we have board members on, right?
I'm sorry?
I mean, should be every single committee that we have.
Well, I would think so, unless you put a list together and decide there's some you want exempt from it. I mean,
Yeah,
I can't think of one off the top of my head that ought to be exempted.
yeah.
So we need a list of the committees.
We need a list of advisory committees. It's, I'll put some thought into that, but, you know, you might too. You might think of something that I don't.
So you're saying two 3-year terms and then take one off?
Yeah. I don't think it's unreasonable.
I don't have a problem.
I can handle it.
Aye, sir.
Somebody better come up with something. I'll come up with another idea.
I need probably a 5-minute legal.
5-minute legal?
I also need, probably 5 minutes of legal, time to give you some information.
Better have 15 total.
Pardon me?
You better say 15 total. We never do 5 minutes ever.
15-minute total legal then?
Yeah.
7.5 with Gary, legal, and 7.5.
I'd like 7 for
Is that your motion?
Total of 15 minutes legal.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Smile.
You're kidding. So you're going right in?
Yeah, for the one we actually had scheduled.
Oh, the way you guys get. I've changed.
As soon as they come out here and make a motion.
So we take it up to the dealer. Say, hey, we've got, no, the motor's been just, and they tell us, here's your $50 bill, looking at it. How you doing?
Are we going right back in? I think so. What is it? For personnel.
Yeah, I'm already, so you guys do whatever you need to do.
I'll make a motion that we go back into personnel for 15 minutes. Executive session.
Executive session for legal, or was it personnel?
Personnel for 15 minutes. I'll second. It's been moved and seconded to go into executive session for 15 minutes for personnel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No action. No. Morgan, we've got some action. Executive session.
I've got a motion ready here if you
Okay.
want it. What I have is as a result, moved to increase Sean West's salary to 30.9838 per hour, range 16, step P, due to his certifications.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We already did it. Gary, you wasn't even here. There's Burton back
So
there.
we have one more.
Burton, you want to come forward?
Thank you. Burton Harding, County Attorney. I just had a clear morning, so I thought I'd come by and just give you a quick update. Nothing to really speak about. Things are going pretty well. We moved over to the new office. It's a nice new facility. The office is nice, but the courtroom is really the real gem there. It's really nice to have court in that bigger.
Are we having court in there yet?
Mm-hmm, yep,
We are.
we're having court there now.
Awesome.
We were set to be in for a jury trial next week, but the guy got a new attorney, so I got set out a little bit. But we should be having our first trial there before too long. So,
I got a trial there Friday.
do you really? Well, so Gary will beat me to the punch, I guess. But I'll get the first jury trial anyway.
We'll get you on record first.
Trial?
Huh?
You got a jury trial?
There's no jury.
No.
Trial of the judge.
But it's real nice. Everything's kind of going along. There's it's issues come up. We're getting them cleaned up, getting our overgrowing pains in there, so it's nice. And I guess the only other thing I'd have to say is revisit with you the possibility of my office retaining those diversion funds instead of going back into the general fund. I don't know if you guys had any time to think about it. I thought about it the other day because I had mentioned it to the judge that I had brought that up to you, and she said that that's the way they did it in her county too. And she said the same thing that Bourbon County did, which is when they also upgraded to Carpel, the same as everyone else is doing right now. And they had, I think she said she had $80,000 in that fund that had built up over the years, and they just paid for it and didn't have to ask the county for any money. So that's really, again, it doesn't make a big difference one way or the other. It's just, it'd be nice if we did get to keep that, so we didn't have to, if we had big purchases or something like that, we could just pay for it instead of having to come and ask the county for money. But it's.
You see any problems with it?
No, a lot of counties do it.
I think a lot of counties do. I think
David, do you have any issues with it?
That's really out of.
I know, but I mean, it's money going
Well,
into the
that'd be
general.
the income side, which would be more with Janet. But, if I have no issues if the law allows it to be done that way, but I just don't know how it works out on everything. I don't know what we would.
Is that what you're thinking?
So I don't know how the nuts and bolts of it would work, but essentially the thing is every time someone gets a diversion, they pay $100 diversion fee. And right now that just goes into the general fund. I have nothing, I lose it from there. What I'm suggesting is that would go into, I guess, I don't know if it'd be a separate fund or just a line item under the general fund or whatever, but that.
Oh, the diversion fund?
Yeah, so that my office would have that $3,000, $6,000 in a year
To do what?
to buy software or
Okay.
pay for training or get a new piece of
So
equipment.
instead of just adding that to your request for your budget at the end of the year, you
Yes.
would have this already set aside.
Correct.
So we could look and say.
So it just kind of smooths out,
you
what
say,
I need from you guys.
150,000, we can say, no, you only need
Right.
140,000.
Well, So basically, this year, for example, instead of coming to you and say, I need a $50,000 increase because I need 40,000 for a software, and I'd say I need a $5,000 increase because I've been able to.
But does it really make a difference?
It's kind of six of one, half a dozen of the other in a way, but again,
You brought it up twice, so you must feel.
like I said, I would like to have it done. I'm not super.
Bottom line is the same. It's a matter of control.
Yeah, it just gives me a little more control of that money and what.
Janet, you have any input on this?
He's in the general fund.
You can't create a separate fund unless there's a statutory basis to create a separate fund. I don't know what the statutory basis would be. I'm not saying there isn't one. So if there's not, assuming there's not, which is an assumption, then it would just be a
line
separate
item?
line item in the general fund, but you would acknowledge that it would, that he would have some control over spending it rather than including it in.
I really don't remember.
Is this something you all want to get together and figure out and come
I mean,
back?
that's fine. I mean, I'm happy to pull the statutes and get
If everybody's in, if there's nothing we're not, which doesn't sound like we're doing anything wrong, if other counties are doing it and they're just putting it in the general fund and putting it under a
Find out
line
how
item,
they do their,
Oh, yeah.
I don't care.
I'll just give you my bank account.
Our codes are 9 digits. We could change the last 3 digits to be diversion, just like interest.
Mhm.
And then we could track it down.
Okay.
Is that what your money to keep it better track of?
Not to keep track of it, but again, the advantage to my office, I think, is again, what I see what Bourbon County and apparently Dickinson County did, which is their county attorneys just were able to keep that money in a fund, year after year. And when they had a big purchase, this Carpel software, for example, they were just able to buy it outright with their diversion fund money that they saved up instead of asking the commissioners for money or going to the county for money. And, they're able to do other things with it, buy, if they need if a computer breaks down during the year or something, instead of having to go over budget or come and ask for money, they've got it in the diversion fund. It's just there, again, to kind of smooth out what the needs of that office are. And so, again, Gary says it's kind of out of control, and it is kind of out of control of that money, but again, I think it's just something that.
I don't have an issue with it.
So maybe some discussion the three of us can have, but if we're talking mainly about equipment and that type of thing, if we just tracked the income every year and then at the end of the year, we could transfer to equipment reserve in the attorney's name, and then it would be sitting there in equipment in reserve if you needed it.
Well, I don't know if it's just, I mean, it would be for anything, again, the software, the equipment, if there's a training that in Wichita to send someone to need a hotel overnight or.
That would be stretching equipment reserve for.
Yeah. So, I mean,
we can surely figure something out.
Yeah. Or a pizza party at the end. I mean, I don't know. Something to.
That's what this is about.
Yeah, I just want that pizza party, damn it. But it's just, again, I think it'd be nice for my office to have access to that for
All right.
reasons. So,
If they can y'all figure it out and tell us.
okay.
I don't have any beef with it. Doesn't sound like.
Okay. Well, I'll get with David and we'll figure it out.
When's the first trial? Have you had one over there yet?
No, like I said, it was set for the end of this month, and I can't remember. I want to say it's the last part and first part of November, like October 30th and November, or 31st and November 1st and 2nd, I think, but I'll have to double check that. But
Okay.
not too long.
I don't have anything.
That's all I've got. Thanks, guys.
You got something?
David?
Good morning. My name's David Keener. I'm from Lone Jack, Missouri. Wanted to introduce a new company, or a company that I'm now working for. We do online auctions. Didn't know what you guys currently do for asset management, taking care of, either buying and selling equipment, things of that nature. Currently, we are a company called Gavel Roads. The parent company, Gene Francis Auctions, started 40 years ago. They formed Gavel Roads, which is the online branch of this company, about 7 years ago. I just started working for them here this last February. And our main office is in Wichita, Kansas, or Goddard, Kansas. And then I've opened an office in Lone Jack, Missouri, kind of handling this area, just meeting with folks, letting them know what we have capabilities of doing. If it's all right, I brought some flyers. Can I hand
Sure.
those out to you guys? So that way I can kind of explain a little bit of what we do. You may be familiar with companies, like a Purple Wave or something like that. We're going to be very similar to that. I would say the main thing that's going to separate us from a Purple Wave is the opportunity that we allow, anybody, it can be an individual or an agency. We allow them to do a reserve. So it's not an absolute auction. It's considered a reserve auction. And so what we do is I come around, the product does not leave your site. If you're selling, let's say a motor grader.
Exact thing.
If you're selling a motor grader, it stays at your place. We come by and take pictures of it. And then we do the marketing through our website. And every 2 weeks, we do an online auction.
What platform you use for, is it high bid? What do you use? Proxy bid?
Tyler Francis is our owner, and he's put his own together.
He bought his own servers and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're kind of handling it through that as a separate entity. We're not associated with a group. I know there are some auction companies that are kind of, you get on one site and you see numerous auction companies.
So you charge a percentage to the county?
No, there's no fees at all to the county.
Okay.
Any kind of government, whether it's city, county, or government agency.
Right.
Allows you to put reserve. And so like you sell something for $1,000, we make 10% from the buyer. And that's where we make our money.
So you add 10% to the cost.
Yeah. So if it's $1,000, the buyer's if he bids $1,000, the buyer pays $1,100.
Same thing Purple Wave does.
Pretty similar.
But there's no reserve.
Purple Wave does not have.
I know, they don't have a reserve. You're allowing reserves.
Yes, we allow.
What if it doesn't sell? Is there a fee for that? No sale?
You have two options. With your reserve on there, you can either roll it over and put it in another auction. We allow you two auctions and it can. Some of the folks will put something on the auction, and if it doesn't sell, they'll take that next 2 weeks off so we can market it a little bit longer, and then put it on another auction after that. So they'll skip an auction period.
Okay.
And so you can put that on, or you can just withdraw it off of the auction. So those would be the options. And then on the day of the sale, we're in communication with the buyers and of the sellers. Let's say you put something on there and you say, I want a reserve of $500, and we get to $480. And before the sale closes, either myself or someone from our office is calling both entities and saying, hey, we're at 480. Is that close enough? Do you want to let it go? If yes, then we let it go. If no, we carry it out and try and reach the 500 at that point. So that's how we kind of communicate. It's very important for us to have, phone numbers to be able to contact the folks. But just wanted to let you know, we have the standard auction every 2 weeks, and then we started off doing gun auctions every 3 months. Now we're having to do them every 2 months. We're coming across a lot of agencies that have a lot of guns that they want to get rid of, confiscated guns and things of that nature. Like City of Emporia, Kansas had 120 guns that they're slowly putting on our auctions. City of Lone Jack has 82 guns. Oberlin had 68 guns. So a lot of our guns are going to be confiscated guns that came from agencies, entities of some sort. And it's your own prerogative. I mean, Cass County, I was told by them that they don't like to auction and sell any of the guns that they confiscate. So they take them out to the Road and Bridge Department and have them cut up. But I was also told by someone last week that they have seen some get sold over there. So I'm not sure what their what their policy is. But so, with respect to some of those, so.
If there's a reserve on a piece of equipment, does it tell you in the description or do you have to actually?
It's hidden reserve, right?
It's a hidden reserve.
Right. And you're.
Our computer system then bids above.
Sure.
So if you bid $400 and the reserve is 500, our computer system's going to bid 410.
It's just like somebody putting a max bid in on something, and if
Yeah.
it doesn't get to that, they get it for whatever it is.
Right.
Right. Gotcha.
So, but wanted to let you know what we have. I will let you know a lot of our equipment, for whatever reasons, we have a lot of exporters buying as buyers right now. And I sold a motor grader for Pettis County, Missouri, just recently, and it's going to Brazil. We've got a lot of equipment that's going to South America through exporters. And so some of the folks say, well, as long as we get our money, we don't care, where it goes. And
So if we had a road grader or something to sell, who do you come out and do the pictures and descriptions or what?
yes, I come out, I do the pictures. If it runs, we like that, because then I like to use the
Video?
the help, because we take a lot of video
Okay.
of the equipment too. And so we like to do that on site. And then you have the choice of either putting someone from your place, their name and phone number on each item. On the item, let's say someone has some questions. We like to have their number. Now, I have had some folks. I had a couple ladies, specifically in Missouri. They lost their husbands, and they have farms. And so I've been going out to their place, taking pictures of about 10 or 15 items every few weeks to slowly get rid of the stuff off their farm. They don't want to take phone calls, so I'm handling any phone calls that come to them, and we can do the same thing for anybody, type thing. And they were just fearful of having someone traipsing around their farm and stuff without.
You gotta watch Jim. He'll show up when you least expect it. Hey, I was gonna ask you something.
Go to auction.
Are you part of are you an auctioneer yourself?
I am not.
Is the company part of the NAA, the National Association of Auctioneers?
Yes.
And the Missouri and the Kansas side?
In Missouri and Kansas,
Okay. Gotcha.
Oklahoma and Nebraska.
Okay.
Yeah, the Francis, Gene Francis, Tyler Francis, and Lori. It used to be Francis. Her last name's now Rogie. So I mean, if you're looking things up, that's the family that owns this business. I used to sell a lot of stuff to your county years ago. I worked for Vance Brothers for 25 years. Left about 7 or 8 years ago, and been working for another company. And so I used to sell road oils to your road department and stuff here. So that's.
I don't have any other questions.
I don't have any. And then it's individuals. I mean, let's say an individual, farmer or individual has a car that they want to get rid of. They're welcome to do that. Now, it is different for an individual because we charge 5% seller's fee for individuals.
So I would have you, when you get done here, walk right in there and talk to Sean West.
Sean?
Yep, and give him your pitch and tell him that you're interested in that. We use Purple Wave, we use Big Iron so far.
Okay.
I don't know if we've used anybody else in a few years, but you can go in there and talk to
Like to leave them the information. We just want to be another option if that works. So.
Okay.
The individual is 5% for the seller,
For the
10% for the buyer.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? I'll get out of your way.
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Good luck.
Aaron just told me he's got something, and then I've got a couple of things I need signatures on before we get away.
Okay.
That's Sean right there. He's talking to you.
In regards to George's resignation, I reached out to Rex Bollinger. He was recommended. I also had a recommendation of Brad Stainbrook. I reached out to Brad. He never got in touch with me. Rex said that he was interested and would accept if.
I'll make that motion. He's in my district, and that's the to replace George Teagarden. He's my pick for planning and zoning.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Tell him congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, who seconded on that? I didn't.
He was eating his Rice Krispie. You didn't hear him.
Okay, I have a couple of things I need to get signed today. The first one is a county budget certification to the Conservation District. It's one we have to sign off on every year. It just has the place for the chair to sign there. I've already filled in the amount that was for the budget for him.
Doing a motion?
Probably wouldn't hurt.
I'll make a motion that we allow the chair to sign the budget for the conservation district.
District for 43,000.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then I also brought the election abstract with me that I need signatures on. I had that included in the motion last week that we were approving it, but I did not have it prepared for signature, so should we have a motion to sign it, Gary?
So the paper trail.
Okay, and that one, we won't have Jim sign because he wasn't here, but I'll go get Darren to sign as one of them too. But there's places for all, or for 3 canvassers. So I guess we could use a motion to sign the election abstract.
That's my motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so I think that's all I've got today. You guys good?
I'm good.
You got
Wants
anything
to
else?
sign all that first.
You
gotta sign all that.
I can't sign it.
I know you're not.
3 pages
Fishing or
of time. There's Republican, Democrat, and
I-
pages. So just pick a canvasser line on each of those pages.
Do we only have to have one sign or what? Or is everybody?
All the way up 3 signatures on it.
Is it on each page?
No, but there's, that one's for the Republican candidate. And then that one's the Democrat candidates. You're certifying candidates, or you're not changing.
I'm just messing with you. I'll get an email on that one for sure.
Then you can do 3 pages also. I'll catch Darren, I already told him I needed him to sign too. And another. All right, thank you.
That it?
That's all I've got.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second it. Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.